This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Good Tuesday afternoon, Larry Prowaddy, along with Nick Prowaddy. Special guest in studio. We'll talk more with him in a little bit. Our program today being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. The drill is very simple on Tuesday. 2 words. Taco Tuesday, all day at Taco John's of Cheyenne. Find the Taco John's nearest you. Even for our friends on the south side, even though they are rebuilding the Taco John's location south of Greeley Highway, you find the Taco John's food truck and enjoy Taco Tuesday. Kia of Cheyenne, over on Nation Way, the lot is filled with some good-looking Kias right now. And the prices, well, let's put it this way. They're going to do some wheeling and dealing because this model year is almost toast. So they need to unload the 19s, 20s are on the way, including more of the Telluride. So check out what Kia of Cheyenne, my good buddy AJ, Greg, and the whole crew of there have for you today. Kick a few tires, test drive, sign on the dotted line, and you're good to go with Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank times 2, the original location over on Vanda High, the east side location, corner of College and Pershing. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange, right across from Powers Field and Menards. Limited time. It is delicious. Their smokehouse barbecue bacon sandwich to go with their strawberry passion tea lemonade here for a limited time only. Chick-fil-A open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. 3 squares served up, and they have 2 convenient drive-thrus. Medicamp Pharmacy over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. See Gene and the gang. They're there Monday through Saturday. And, of course, they have a convenient drive-thru if you don't want to shop inside or you're in a hurry. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center. The Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. Remember, it's not clean until it's Lennox clean. And the Auto Body Shop over on Dunn Avenue, part of Lennox Enterprises, which has been serving our area for a quarter century. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Again, offering some fantastic CD rates. 27-month CD. How about a 3.1 annual percentage yield? You got to talk to our friends over at First Tier Bank open Monday through Friday. Across the street, it's Mondello's Pizzeria, Paisan cuisine at its best. Family-owned, family-operated, family recipes. No, this is not a corporate. This is a family-owned business. And again, Mondello's has been around for, 4 decades now. Joe's been serving up some delicious pie, along with strombolis and calzones and delicious sandwiches, always fresh, ingredients fresh. That's why Mondello's has been around that long. See them at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And we also want to get things underway with our scoreboard. It's always brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
Yeah, for the rare time, I have nothing on my scoreboard because, again, local baseball is at least inactive. No softball with Cheyenne Extreme. I at least can remind folks coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and hopefully Monday, which will be in Championship Monday, down in Farmington, New Mexico, against Cheyenne Post 6 as they are the qualifiers. They are going to represent the city of Cheyenne down at the Connie Mack World Series. Again, getting underway starting at Friday, at least this Friday. I do believe they are participating today in a little parade action in Farmington, at least around the Connie Mack World Series. So, again, good luck to Cheyenne Post 6 as they get set for this big event coming up.
Major League Baseball, let's tell you what's going to happen at around 5:05. They're going to try to play tonight at Nats Park in D.C. Wiped out yesterday due to severe weather. It's 88 degrees right now, partly sunny in the nation's capital. Oh, by the way, last night's wipeout will be part of a day-night doubleheader on tap for tomorrow. Rockies Nationals, Peter Lambert will get the call again. For the Rocks, he'll go up against Steven Strasburg this time for the Nationals. Cardinals and the Bucks will be at 5:05, 5:07 for the Indians and the Blue Jays in the Rogers Center. 5:10, Red Sox and the Rays in the Trop. Comerica, the Motor City Kitties of Detroit, hosting the Philadelphia Phillies. Padres Mets at Citi Field. Royals and the Bravos in an interleague contest. That will be at SunTrust Park in Cumberland, Georgia, around 5:20. 6 o'clock games will have the Reds and the Brewers at Miller Park, Marlins and the White Sox at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Athletics and the Astros at Minute Maid, where the Astros destroyed the Swinging A's yesterday, 11-1. Yankees Twins at Target Field. 7:40 game will have the Orioles and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at Chase. Cubs Giants. They'll match up at Oracle Park. If the Giants can do what they did last night, I'll be happy as they rally for the win against the Cubbies 5-4. Angels Dodgers, again, the Freeway Series. It will be at Dodger Stadium for this evening. Interleague play. Rangers Mariners wrapping things up at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
We'll work hard for your business, and we'll work just as hard to keep it. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and you need to see the new 2019 Kia Sportage today. The 2019 Kia Sportage offers numerous options and advanced driving features that help you know who is around you and how best to stay in control. Kia Sportage offers many standard features for the money. Some of the competition does not. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
The end of the summer is in sight. Did you accomplish all of your home improvements and remodeling projects? Whether you're remodeling your kitchen or adding a little extra space for your growing family, the home equity line of credit with Platte Valley Bank can help you finish what you want to complete this summer. So stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a home equity line of credit with Platte Valley Bank.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All lines of credit are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 20 years, with doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For tonight, it'll be sunny with highs around 81. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 54. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 85. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with the rain showers likely with lows around 57.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, Tuesday afternoon. It's nice to have him back in studio, joining Nick Proetti and yours truly, Larry Proetti, our other voice that you hear quite often during basketball games, and will be assisting on football as well. We're talking to Chris Polton, Dodger lover extraordinaire, here on Fortune KRAE.
There's not much to go into that. Again, Dodgers winning the West. We already know that. It's just more so what will they do in the playoffs? So.
This is the best week in baseball, though.
Well,
trade deadlines.
You know, the thing is, too,
Wednesday.
before we get into this Dodger talk about walking away with the division, all I got to say is, and I wasn't even around, 1951, watch out for those Giants. Anyway, moving along, as you mentioned, this is the best week for Major League Baseball because we are going to find out who's in, who's out, and who's going to go to a contender and how much money is going to be taken, for a player and players to be named later. It's going to be all kinds of craziness. But with that all being said, let's welcome in Chris. Let's talk local baseball. And let's get right away into the nickels and dimes here of the program with the Post 6 squad. We had Ty Lane on last week. Ty has been very, I don't want to use the word outspoken in the newspaper, but said, hey, this is what we're going to do, and, we want it. We're going there. However,
well, and also, too, I did outreach as well to the American Legion, at least commission here in the state, to get their comments. I do believe one Cody Beers, at least to try and join us on the show to talk about, at least with the state, their thoughts on at least Post 6 getting this berth and going down to Farmington and kind of altering what is the state Legion, especially with maneuvering a few teams and again, losing Cheyenne. And now it gives, as Ty mentioned, it gives another one outside of Cheyenne, an opportunity to represent the state of Wyoming. So, again, there's positives, but we've seen a few negatives, some not too
And one of the
happy
negatives,
with it.
too, Chris, is that Cody, who's hosting the A tournament, they automatically qualify by hosting it, so they can leave their own tournament and jump into that number 4 hole as the number 4 seed as they get ready for the state tournament this weekend. I guess I'm going to go right out of the box and don't hold back. Your thoughts on the Legion team going to the Connie Mack World Series.
You work hard throughout the year. If you're able to do something where you can face other teams that you will never have a chance to face, I'm all for it. I'm also for big tournaments, especially tournaments that are going to bring teams from different regions, because that's going to give you a chance as a student athlete to get looks at maybe college coaches that had no idea who you were. Now they're at this tournament, at this World Series, and now you are able to really just broaden your horizon a little bit more. With Legion baseball, I think the same people go to it all the time. You run into the same teams, same coaches, and then the same scouts usually go out there, whether it be pro or college scouts. It's kind of their pipeline, so to say. This gives kids a chance to look into a different pipeline, to get a chance to be seen in front of other scouts, and I think it's a great opportunity. If as far as myself goes as a coach or a player, I would love it, especially because you're not guaranteed, a chance to play for a national title or anything like that. They're guaranteed a chance to play for it because of what they did in the CABA here. Yep. They earned that right. So go take it. And plus, what would it say to the CABA, to the Connie Mack World Series, if they didn't go? Kind of a slap in the face, yeah.
Well, the CABA is already a debacle here in the city of Cheyenne, so it would just make it even more interesting, more fun on the topic that is the CABA World Series out here. But as you mentioned, again, with some of the teams, Post 6 has seen a fair amount of unique teams, but again, more kind of in the locale, whether it is Nebraska, whether it is Montana, South Dakota, Colorado, the Washington squads that were part of that Connie Mack World Series. But looking at qualifiers for this World Series coming up, the host team obviously is going to be the New Mexico squad of Four Corners Frackers, Cheyenne Post 6 as well. There's going to be California representation with the Colton Nighthawks. Texas representation in this one, Florida as well, Tennessee, Ohio. It looks like 3 other Texas teams, 1 New York squad, and another California, the Southern California Renegades, a team that won the CABA last year here in town, that got in as well, but they were an automatic berth. So, again, we're talking, from Texas, Florida, some big pipeline states that put out a lot of talent, again, that move on to the Major League Baseball ranks. Now with Cheyenne, with Wyoming to step in, be a part of that, it's kind of a special moment right there where you're taking on top dogs, and you are at least get the shot at basically stamping it in, having that chip on your shoulder, so to speak, of, hey, we got all this to prove.
Well, and as a coach, granted, you're judged based off state titles and regional titles and national titles and all that stuff. But for someone like Ty, what's even better is getting kids to play at the next level, from an individual standpoint. You have Braxton Ennis, who's playing Division I baseball in Greeley right now.
UNC.
Yeah, and so you got guys like that are able to go on to the next level. What Ty's giving them a chance to do now in making the decision to go out to Farmington to play is that he's now going to give these kids one more extra shot, maybe multiple extra shots. Who knows how many different college scouts or coaches will be out there scouting this tournament, but he's going to give them way more opportunities. And again, it's exciting for you to get a chance to play a team out of New York, out of Texas, out of California. Don't you want to see how good Cheyenne baseball, or better yet, how good Wyoming baseball is against the very best out there? You can't do that all the time in American Legion because not everybody offers American Legion baseball like they do in Wyoming.
Well, it's an interesting route for American Legion as well, breaking it down where, not saying this is the easiest route, or, I mean, technically it is, where you won the CABA and here it is, you got the automatic bid into the World Series. But, if Post 6 was to deny this, or at least say, hey, no, we won it, but we're not going, we're instead focused on American Legion, again, you still got to win the state up in Gillette. You still got to go through regionals. That has been a, kind of a pain, at least in the side for Post 6, where they have yet to get past that kind of threshold. And then you make it into at least the American Legion World Series. So, for Post 6, this made sense. It is something, hey, we're already stamped it, as we're talking about. It is that prestige. You are taking on national teams. It's no longer in the Rocky Mountain area, the western states. It is we're seeing from east, south, central, north, west. It's all encompassing, and it is something to showcase off the talent where, whether it is Post 6, Cheyenne Mustang, Cheyenne Extreme, our high schools here in town, that's the end goal. It's to move on to the next level, move on your student athletes, so to speak, to that next level, whether it is JUCO, D2, D1, or if you're at least special enough, have the talent as well, be like a Brandon Nimmo and be a part of the major leagues.
Well, and again, Brandon Nimmo had to go to various tryouts, so to speak, various all-star type games. He wasn't scouted here.
Right.
Now, I will tell you this. I have a buddy of mine, lives in Loveland, who was working for the Mets organization. I have another baseball acquaintance who works with the Yankees out of Denver. I have another acquaintance of mine. You know him when we were down at spring training. He was a Giant scout. The point I'm driving at, since we don't have high school baseball here in Wyoming, the scouts, if there are a plethora of scouts for the Front Range and Mile High City, you are not going to get them to come up here to this tournament. I'm talking about the Legion tournament. You're probably not going to get them to go up to Gillette because of the lack of high school baseball. You might get some eyes on the regional tournament. Now, we go to the CABA, or this Connie Mack. Again, Connie Mack and Legion, to me, is right there with each other.
Apples and oranges.
And again, you think it's apples and oranges.
Yeah, just because of the fact that Connie Mack's been around for so long to me, and I think Connie Mack has kind of that name that everybody knows across the nation. Not so much, whereas American, I never even heard of a Legion baseball until I moved to Wyoming.
Been around for a long time.
Right, but I never even heard of that until I moved to Wyoming. Granted, I grew up in California.
No, I did too.
So,
and we didn't have American Legion baseball, but I knew of American Legion baseball. So, matter of fact, I coached American Legion in Chico back in the 80s.
Yeah, I had no idea. The only American Legion I knew of was the place that my grandpa took me to get 25-cent hot dogs.
Okay, well, the point is with the Connie Mack, and I told Nick this too, since I've had that opportunity to play Connie Mack baseball, it is more of that next stepping stone to collegiate baseball. Not taking anything away from American Legion baseball. I'm not going to take anything, but it's that stepping stone real quick that could put you into Division I, Division II, or into a high California recruited JUCO program. So the point that I'm driving at right now with this is that this tournament, whether you agree or disagree with me, I think is better suited for Post 6. Now, they may go 0 and whatever in pool play.
Well,
but again, they're the even though some of these kids are already committed to go to different places, there's
some aren't, as we've talked with.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen is there's going to be scouts, eyes, collegiate eyes out there that are going to be more prominent than going to the regional tournament, which is going to be held in Idaho. And again, not taking anything away from the American Legion tournament in Idaho, but this World Series is going to get people signed.
Yeah, and how many times have you heard the story where a guy gets signed or a guy gets a scholarship offer, and it's because he was at a tournament where they were looking at somebody else or they were looking at an opponent, and then that player just happened to have a great game. So they started digging in more and started sending him, the questionnaires that they always send out. Well, at least the pro scouts, that's what they send out. But they also get letters of interest from those different colleges. How many times have you heard that where a guy just happens to have a great game in front of the right person, and then, that just propels their post-high school career?
Well, the same thing, too. And again, this is not patting myself on the back, but, I go back to my senior year. We had high school baseball. You can relate to this, Chris. The Oakland A's scout came out to look at the guy who was pitching against me, and I beat him 1-0, or my team did. I got some great help. But who got all the press? I did. Even though he came out to watch him, and he out-dueled me. He threw a 3-hitter. We won 1-0. I threw a 4-hitter. But I was the one getting all the press from the Oakland A's scout. So right away, my stock went up by beating this guy.
So and that's just how the cards lie. Again, if you were on fire, guess what? You were fortunate at that point in time. But
this goes to the point in Farmington, New Mexico. Again, you've got a lot of what can I say? Minor league ball that goes through New Mexico, goes through Arizona, goes through Texas. So there's going to be a lot of representation out there, including collegiate.
Well, in not even think about what's going to happen in results of these games coming up for Post 6. Again, just making there has been historic enough. This is, at least as we talk with Ty, this puts Wyoming now on the map, officially kind of stamps its place of, hey, for other scouts, for D1, D2, for, at least that next level baseball, it now puts Wyoming on the map saying, hey, we got talent out here. Hey, we have a team that made it to this prestigious level compared to, again, of how many teams compete in Connie Mac across the nation. They're one of the few to compete a part of this with the likes of California, with Texas, with Florida, with New York, as I mentioned beforehand. So this is above and beyond right now. And again, it stamps Wyoming, but also it stamps the city of Cheyenne, and it helps out with Post 6. It helps out even with the Cheyenne Mustangs, as they develop in their upcoming years, again, as they're young right now, but it brings more eyes and more curiosity to go, oh, we do have talent out there.
Also, too, and Chris, I think, and again, I don't know what your schedule was back in the high school days, but, we're talking the teams that Post 6 will be playing already had 25 to 30 games in high school, and then you tack on another 60 during the summer program. These guys have been basically together for about 85 games, most of these teams. So where Post 6 gets together in March and starts playing their series, these guys have been together since about January.
I'm not going to make an excuse, or at least if that's going to be a hesitation for Post 6, or is that going to be an Achilles heel for?
It could be an advantage because of the fact that they may be a little bit fresher. Now, the one thing that, to look at is playing surfaces. Post 6 plays a lot of games on turf. I'm pretty sure the Farmington field is natural grass and kind of your traditional. Now, I believe it's a minor league ballpark that they're playing in, or at least minor league facility.
And is wood bad?
And so the one thing that I'm interested in seeing is how do they make the adjustment from natural to turf?
But they've had tournaments here or in Colorado that have been on grass, so it's not like the surface is going to be any different. What I think will be in Farmington, New Mexico, is that surface is going to be like carpet.
You would hope.
Yeah, I think these things are going to be cut really low, similar to what we saw at Coors Field. They're not going to, where I play now on a weekend where the grass is already, 2-3 inches high. No, I think it's going to be cut to carpet, and you're going to get the true hops. I think everything that you get from the infield / to the outfield, and matter of fact, in the outfield, it might be even faster than it is, playing out here at Powers Field.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's just an adjustment because when you play on turf, that second bounce is way different than when you're on grass or if it hits grass or it hits dirt. It's way different no matter what. Whereas the second bounce may be a little bit more true on turf, the second bounce on grass or dirt could be different because there's more lips. There's lips involved. There's, anytime you're on dirt, there's always going to be, you're never going to have it well maintained after about the second or third inning. That's why you see in pro baseball every 3 innings they're out there
cleaning it up,
redoing it because of the fact that they want to keep it as maintained as possible. But when it comes to just the overall decision to go out to Farmington and have this experience, I think you're going to see Ty and the players look back on it, and no matter what happens, as a great learning experience, as a great baseball experience overall, because Connie Mack is it's a big league. A lot of people know about it. I guarantee they're going to do it up nice and big, and it's going to almost have that college World Series type feel where they may do like a parade of champions and all that other stuff. And it's just a great atmosphere to be a part of.
And that's what they're doing. I do believe today they are doing the parade. Again, they'll have events. They'll take them around to at least a little Hall of Fame that they have there. Former Connie Mack players now in the MLB ranks. So they do a little history with all that at least the park that they play at down there in Farmington called Ricketts Park. Yes, it is all natural, but something we talked with Ty throughout the season, if not last year. Again, they have ways to prepare themselves for that. Going from the artificial to the natural. They have those tools. They have that understanding, and yes, it is nothing new from the wood bat as well too. They've all been prepared, but again, as we talk about all the conditions, or at least what's going to at least face in front of Cheyenne Post 6 at this point in time, it's more of a question of what are expectations for this team. Do we anticipate that this team wins the championship down there? I again, nothing against Post 6, but again, we're talking some top-level talent from around the nation that maybe have that advantage of playing 30 games more beforehand, have had that gelling. Maybe, again, they have a little bit better squad than what Post 6 has, at least coming into this. But it does bring up a question of what is our expectations right now for this World Series.
Playing one game at a time. That's you're in pool play. You play it one game at a time. The whole deal is A, you got to win in pool play, and B, it runs against.
Yeah.
So if you end up in a tie, they're going to look at runs against. So again, you go one game at a time. Kids like Cody Brooks, who have been through the state run before with Post 6 and gone to the regional, and Trey Trimble, he's got a veteran mound staff that will be able to buy him a lot of innings. And again, too, we got to remember, we're coming out of 6,000 feet of Cheyenne, Wyoming into Farmington, New Mexico. Now, again,
it's not the sea level.
Well, no, but I notice when we go to Arizona, Phoenix is like about 2,000 feet up, but my curveball goes 12.6.
Yeah.
Instead of 10.2. So they're going to notice that change on their off-speed pitches. And that, again, this is where these pitchers, and again, even when my guys, when we go to Arizona, they really look good because what you throw in Old Man League, it actually makes it a lot better just because of the atmospheric conditions, or again, playing at 4,000 feet lower. So
they got that when they went out to Omaha, competing in that tournament earlier this year. Again, with the elevation,
but I'm going south though, Nick. You're going south.
Either way though, again, you're at higher elevation. They got that advantage. They've dealt with at least with the wind, with the conditions. Everything up here, again, it's all going to be playing into factors, something that they've dealt with the entire year, so it is nothing new of what's coming up, at least this weekend down in Farmington for Cheyenne Post 6. Again, it is a question of what will they do, if anything, at least for this first time being a part of the Connie Mack World Series, and hopefully it's one of many for either Post 6 or the Cheyenne Mustangs. It is something for Post 6, though, however, being a part of this. It's a learning experience. Well, again, I do not anticipate this team, nothing against them, to win this championship, but it is going to be a learning experience of, hey, here's how the California teams at least approach this. Here's how New York, here's how Texas goes about it. What can we take back to Cheyenne to at least get to our players, develop them, and possibly make it into a powerhouse that continues to lead World Series?
And let me interrupt you real quick. Farmington, its elevation is 5,394, so they're going to drop down about 800 feet.
Wow, that's going to make a big difference.
Well, you never know. Again,
you're going down to Denver.
You're going south.
I will say this. Anytime you're a new team in a new atmosphere or kind of just doing something for the first time, that first game is so huge. If you're able to win that first game, then you can start getting some belief that you belong. And once, not to say that Post 6 is going down there and Ty's telling these kids, hey, let's just have fun. Ty's going, he's a competitive guy. He's just like his dad.
Yeah.
Very, very competitive. So he's going to try to do everything he can to get his guys up. And his guys are going to believe that they can win. But if you can do it, if you can physically see it, there's a difference between believing you can win and then seeing that you can win. And so if they can win the first one, I'm not going to say they're going to start rolling, but that first game's huge.
And you mentioned Brandon Nimmo.
I was going to say there's a benefit of being that new kid on the block, so to speak. We've learned that from the Mustangs, from Post 6, where they go into these tournaments, they're overlooked. Is this a situation for Cheyenne Post 6 that they are overlooked? Again, kind of bring in a chip on their shoulder as they've done to other Colorado and Nebraska tournaments and eventually won those tournaments. Is this the same effect where
you bring an attitude?
You have the California, you have the Texas and New York teams that overlook it going, hey, they play baseball in Wyoming. This should be easy. We'll cruise to a win in this one. That might be something that Post 6 might take advantage of hey, they're looking at us at a laughing stock. Let's show them how we play baseball.
Well, and again, too, like I said, they come in there with that attitude, and all they got to do is see the ball, hit the ball, throw strikes, catch the ball. It's a pretty simple drill. I know we need to take a timeout. But, again, Brandon Nimmo was brought up early in the conversation where Brandon had to go to these various all-star bashes, so to speak, to get his name out there. These guys, again, with the colleges, and I would venture to say Major League Scouting Bureau will be out there, especially for that southern region. These guys right now are almost in the same type of shoes, wearing the same type of shoes as Brandon Nimmo did because of the posterity of this tournament. And
again, it's either American Legion World Series or the Connie Mac World Series. So for those scouts, you have two to choose as your postseason tournaments, and why not? I wouldn't even think it's just for the South. I think there's going to probably be a lot of people in attendance that people are not expecting because, again, it is one of two of the final regular, at least the postseason tournaments in this country.
There's going to be a gun on every pitcher. There's going to be a stopwatch on every base runner going from home plate to first, and there's going to be a stopwatch for every catcher's pop time to second base, no matter what.
And I was going to say, it's going to be interesting, too, to hear from Ty. How many guys came up, tapped him on the shoulder, and said, what about number 10? What about number 27? That type of deal. We do need to take a timeout. We're going to be right back. We got more here on 1480 KRAE.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra Chicken Sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra Chicken Sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food, and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food, or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY-FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Pepsi products. 24-pack, 12-ounce cans, $3.99. Pabst Blue Ribbon, 24-pack, 12-ounce cans, $15.99. And Black Velvet, 1.75-liter bottle, $11.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480, KRAE.
5 weeks away, and we'll be doing the football thing. Myself, Chris, along with Nick. Nick will be doing all of the camera work again this year, bringing you some great on-field action, while Chris and I will be describing the calls for you.
Trying to at least work on the new camera setup, but again, it's work in progress. If not, we have the backup, but again, live streaming will still happen. 1480 KRAE YouTube channel or the Periscope side, where you can find it at Nick Wild Sports. Again, two different ways to at least view at least those games. Again, 1480KRAE.com has a list of all games that we'll have football-wise coming up for 2019. And again, with those services, those live streaming services, we offer to you completely free. All we ask is to subscribe on the YouTube side, or at least follow me over on the Twitter side.
Well, and again, too, we've had always some great sponsorships over the years, and I've been out during this time talking to our sponsors, and, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to really like the lineup that we have coming up for you here in 2019, 2020. Nick, I'm going to let you go ahead and take this over because, again, you put the poll out. I'll come in after you, and then we'll get Chris's thoughts on, again, we'll use Chris. To a certain degree, you're a newbie here in this part of the world, so go ahead.
Well, again, if you missed yesterday or at least the post, whether it was on the Twitter side or Wyoming Sports Talk Today's Facebook page, again, where we at least ask you to like and at least follow that page over on that side. But, again, put out a poll, at least talking about at least the former defunct teams here in the city of Cheyenne, whether it's on the junior side, at least Rocky Mountain Collegiate Baseball League, or even also to indoor football, that being with the Cheyenne Warriors, Cheyenne Stampede, and also to the Cheyenne Grizzlies. You know, all teams are now defunct, if not also too dormant, like the Cheyenne Stampede. But, you know, basically I went to the at least folks here in town, or at least in Laramie County or across the state of Wyoming, that asked the question, put out a poll of, will we in the foreseeable future have a semi-pro, have a minor league, or a junior team be back here in the city of Cheyenne? And again, it does not matter if it's basketball, baseball, football, hockey. Once again, will we ever see a minor league, semi-pro, junior team again here in the city confines? Whether it is at the Ice and Event Center, or we find a way to get a brand new baseball field, find a way to put up a rec center that is capable to have a basketball court for a semi-pro team. That was just basically my poll, was for the foreseeable future, will we ever see another team like those three back here in the city of Cheyenne?
Now, Chris, I don't have a dog in the fight. Obviously, my children are all grown up now. If Nick decides to have children, great, terrific, and whether he raises them here or not, that's his choice. You have young children. Pretty soon they're going to want to look for these type of activities,
which are available, you know, again, if you want to travel down to Loveland, or again to watch the college baseball route, you go over to Gering, which is the closest for the Expedition League, or for hockey, again, it's down to Loveland. Football, obviously, going over to Laramie, down to CSU if you want to.
UNC, Greeley.
Yeah,
so,
UNC.
Again, you know,
you're traveling, again, 45, 50 miles, again, away from the city.
Oh, and Chris probably knows where we're thinking at. So your thoughts, first off, on field number 2, which should be built next to Powers Field. Land is there. No one has broke ground on it.
The best chance would be, I think, the Expedition League. I think when I interviewed back when it first started, so 2 years ago, for the Casper Horseheads play-by-play position, Chuck, who's I think he's the commissioner. I know he owns the Horseheads, and I think the one out of Gearing, too.
Yeah. And up in South Dakota?
He owns 3, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'd asked him, is your plans ever to come to Cheyenne? He said, we'd love to come to Cheyenne. Cheyenne would be great because it would be a great door to crack into Colorado. Right now, because of the fact there's only really where you can hold this type of competition would be at Powers Field because of the seating, right? Because that's a big deal to them. They want to be able to sell tickets. They want to be able to get a crowd following. Like they've done I don't know if you've gotten a chance to follow the Twitter feed of the Casper Horseheads. They do a great job.
Yeah, they follow me. So,
but again, they do a great job.
And same with Western Nebraska, same with any team across that Expedition League. And to spotlight them of where we do have something similar of what we have with the Cheyenne Grizzlies, but this has proven to be a little bit better, a little bit stronger. They've done their research, as we've talked with either Chuck or also to the president of that league at a point in time. And again, being a part of that Western Nebraska game that we went about a couple weekends ago, it is a league. It is teams owned by ownership that know what they're doing,
and they have legit talent, like super legit talent, like from Division I, level guys that will get drafted at some point. I can't remember his first name, but I know his last name is Roach. Casper Horseheads have him. They just shut him down recently. A pitcher. This kid has a great opportunity to get drafted at some point because he's electric. Every time he took the hill, you were waiting to see something special. So, but I think that's the best chance. Now, in order for them to do that, they will have to build a new field. The scheduling nightmare of trying to get 3 teams at Powers Field, because Mustangs still want to play at Powers Field. Post 6 owns. They don't own it, but they have main rights.
In the city splits that time to allow that both teams get an option, whether it's at Pioneer or Power. So, yes, it would be hard to get all 3.
A third team in there, especially with the amount of games that they play. But it stinks because it would be a good revenue for the city.
And there's something that we've talked with Chuck a few times, and he's mentioned it on this program when we've had him on talking, at least previewing the league, or either talking about here it is post year 1 going into year 2. It is something that Powers Field is something that they've looked into, and they've kind of ixnayed of saying, this is not going to work for us. We need something a little bit better where other cities have worked with this, or if not already established.
Didn't Gearing build a stadium?
Yeah, they built
$2 million stadium?
$2 million brand new stadium.
The only thing they forgot to put was a $4,000 tarp down because Chuck said they lost 5 games due to the weather. Yeah. Here at Powers Field, we did not build stadium seating.
Right.
And that's what they did.
What they did is they put just basically grandstand seating in all through the field. There is room again for field number 2. So if you get field 2 going, and here's the deal. The city is going to have to pony up. It's not Larry Peroletti or Chris Polton or Nick. No,
as
the city's going to have to build.
As you're talking about the city, why we're bringing up this topic as well too, and again, still in the talks, and hopefully we'll get more update about this as we're at least bringing up this conversation. And again, as we've asked these questions many a time on this program, well, we're trying to find those answers, and I've outreached to one deputy director of Jason Sanchez, who's been at least in control of recreation and events, also to his director, at least boss ahead of him, so to speak, Teresa Moore. I have been in contact with both of them to hopefully get these answers of where are we here in the city of Cheyenne with getting that ballpark that was promised years ago. Are we in the motion to do it? Are they working with the Expedition League to bring that successful, at least baseball program, or at least that competition down here to the city of Cheyenne? What are we doing with the Ice and Event Center now for about 6-7 months due to the fact that the Stampede are dormant and not going to compete there anytime soon at the Ice and Event Center? So, again, this is why we brought this up, is we're trying to get these answers right now to figure out what is the city's direction, where it seems like it has been very anti-athletic.
Well, and I told you yesterday we could bring in anybody from the city, and they're going to probably tell you, I don't know what you're talking about on the other field.
And that's pretty sad, though.
If you're
in that position, that's
6-7
pretty sad.
years, I'm telling Nick, you're going to have to go back about 6-7 years, maybe even longer, back to city council under Mayor Kaysen to hear
they can still talk. They can still talk on the topic of
making their pledge to put a field in.
If you let me talk again, we know that the city has been in talks with the Expedition League. We've had those conversations that they've been trying to work with. But again, the question is, where is it going? Has it just been a standstill? Is the city pushing back against this? Well, where are they with these outside teams or outside leagues trying to at least get their teams into Cheyenne, which does option, to open up the doors, whether it is going out west to Laramie to be a part of that area, or again going down south to the Fort Collins, Greeley's, to Loveland, to even down to Denver, of bringing out those extra opportunities for these leagues around up north, or at least in the general area.
Well, and right now, like, I have a lot of experience as far as Colorado when it comes to their summer wood bat league, because I played in it for 3 years. That's kind of an untapped source that I think the Expedition League would love to get themselves into. But I agree with kind of how Chuck is looking to attack it, is you want something right on the border. You want something
right
here
at I-25 and 80, yeah.
Right, exactly. So why can't – we have all this land, all this undeveloped land, and right now you're starting to see, a little bit more starting to become developed. But how great would it be to have a college-level baseball team right here? And it's not like huge commitment. It's not like it's – 12 months out of the year or anything like that. Now, granted, you have your general managers and the people that are, trying to promote their team and try to, the coaches trying to, recruit players to come in. It's a 365 type job.
That's something that the city as well too. We saw that falter at least with the Cheyenne Stampede, is the city as well, whether that is the city government or at least just persons in general here in town need to help support or at least kind of put the word out. And I think it's more so the city of Cheyenne, that Parks and Rec at least department saying, hey, we got baseball going on. Let's notify folks around town. Make sure that everyone knows that we have baseball, hockey, whatever is happening here in town. But that's something that I want to ask you as well, Chris, get your thoughts on. We saw what happened with the Stampede. Again, a team that was successful in the early years that folks did turn out. They filled up the ice at Event Center when they turned, or at least had the couple rough seasons these past 2 years. Fans did not show up at the ice at Event Center. That is the question where we see up in Casper with the Casper Horseheads. Again, team that has struggled, but fans up in Casper, they do show up.
There, Cheyenne Grizzlies, they were in business for 4 or 5 years. Fans had the opportunity to show up. They didn't. So just, again, $5 a pop to sit in grandstands, which, again, whether
for Western Nebraska was $7.
I know, but whether it was at Pioneer Park, which was not, I think the last season of the Grizzlies, they finally got the all-weather turf down. They had a fight to get time over at Powers Field back in the day. The point is, I tip my cap to Ron Cayley. At least he ponied up the bucks to get the franchise, tried to promote this team. Again, this jersey we got up here, that's stuff, from the marketing that they tried to sell.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good baseball product. Again, the Fort Collins,
which is the same thing that at least in the Expedition League we saw.
The Fort Collins Foxes were the dominant team. Yeah. They had the better program, so to speak. Greeley ended up folding after a couple of years. The Laramie Colts, I do believe that's what they were called. I think they just wrapped up their operation last year, if I'm not mistaken. They finally dropped out of the Mountain Collegiate Baseball League. There still was a league going on, and I think they finally folded up shop last year after being around for quite a few years.
Yeah, no, the one thing I will say is, in Casper, I think the reason why the Horseheads I think this year was probably a better year for them, is that you do have a core of baseball fans out there that followed the Casper Ghosts, right? The Rockies rookie ball team. So it could have been a group of people that were just eager to have that, Mike Lansing Field to be filled up again in the summertime, like rookie ball used to do all the time there. Here in Cheyenne, it's almost like you're going to have to build a brand new fan base. Post 6 has such I think a solid following just because it is kind of the marquee team in town, where the Mustangs following just behind them, and you can really just see that based off of one, numbers, but two, Post 6, they tend to have the more quality player, 1 through however many they have, 25, 30 guys on a roster. But I think with Cheyenne is all you need is somebody that's willing to stick their neck out within the town. Like, you need somebody that's going to be willing to own that team, kind of like with the Stampede for the last few years. Someone that's willing to stick their neck out for an organization and get it going. Now, as far as the ice and events there, if I'm not mistaken, they in the summertime they take the ice out of there, right?
Yeah.
So my question is does that hurt? Did that hurt the organization a little bit because they had guys that were constantly, had to go elsewhere in order to get workouts in the off season, whereas maybe some of these other organizations didn't have to have their players do that, and they were able to continually stay together and continually mold together because of the fact they had year-round ice to play on?
Was that the reason why the Stampede became dormant? Again,
probably not.
When we've talked with Mark and we talked with Coach Breen or whoever at least was head coaching at that time, again, was not a big issue. They would have rather have had it where the ice was up, like in Ogden, like a Utah, where they had that availability, but also too, again, those franchises did have extra capital to at least foot the bill for things like that, for, again, little odds and ends extras that other teams, like for instance Cheyenne, couldn't afford, so to speak. But again, with the Cheyenne at least Stampede, why they became dormant, again, as we've understood and we've beaten that dead horse many a time at this point in time. For the Stampede, it was a situation of, whether it was the city not helping out this team, not promoting it, but also to trying to fight back, take away revenue options from the Stampede, making their lives a little bit hard, but also to the folks here in town just did not support it, did not show up when they were in.
It's tough to support a team that doesn't win a lot.
But here's the problem we have in Cheyenne, as opposed to Gering and even Casper. And Casper's got the and again, I don't want this in disrespect, but they want to be the everything portion of the state. We have everything. It doesn't matter. We got more than Cheyenne can offer.
Well, and you could say that next year when Gillette gets an Expedition League team, because, again, Gillette wants to be that end-all, be-all city as well.
But here's the problem we have in Cheyenne. Unless you have Cheyenne products on these programs, Stampede or Grizzlies back in the day.
Hell, you can even say with LCCC.
Yeah, unless you have a Cheyenne product or two on these teams, fans ain't going to come out. They can't relate to these guys. They don't relate to the guys over at UW. If they're losing, they're not going to show up, right? Back in the day, you would go because it was basketball. It was the trendy thing to do. This is not the trendy thing to do. And if I don't know Chris or Nick Proetti, why am I going to go out and watch you guys? I care less. I'm going to sit at home, flip on the Rockies, and watch Blackman Arenado and stay home. But the thing is, if you put a program, and it's got to win. I mean, it's got to come right out of the box and win. And we saw it up in Gering. They were 25-6, if I'm not mistaken. 1,300 people were there.
Well, and again, Gering is in an interesting situation. Again, they were Expedition champs last year, again, continuing their success this year. But, again, I go up north to Casper, and I wouldn't doubt it's going to be the same up in Gillette if they have a rough year. Casper, again, a team that is finished dead last. They were awful last year. They're not doing so well this year. Again, a bit of improvement. But, again, they're not at least at the top in their division. But they still find a way to draw fans out there to Mike Lansing Field.
Yeah,
fans are still showing up.
What's he doing Gering in the summer? You saw the town.
Well, I mean, they could go fishing. They could do all that.
I know in Gering, too, a lot of Scottsbluff people make the drive over. Because I have,
it's 3, 4, 5 miles. Yeah,
I have a lot of friends. So what's nice with Gering is you're pulling from two towns, and Casper, you're pulling really from one town.
Yeah,
if you're here in Cheyenne, you're going to pull from.
But that's the thing,
one
Casper's the same
you're
situation.
You're going to pull from a county of 100,000 people, though.
Yeah, but Casper as well, too. Again, either if it is pulling from Natrona County or the city itself, they still draw fans of Mike Lansing.
Right.
We talked with Chuck, again, owner of that team, where they had a sellout earlier this year, or at least they had a record attendance, I think, for last year in 2018.
1,800.
Well, for 2018 in entirety, Casper Horseheads, they had the largest, at least, home attendance of any team in that Expedition League.
I will say their promotions, too, are pretty like they do a good job to keep people
it's like
out
minor
there.
league. Yeah, it's like minor league baseball.
Yeah, exactly. If you're able to find a way to do that here and have one, I think Gering makes it Gering has the stadium sell itself right at the moment because it's brand new and they spent all that money on there and they're good. But what's nice about Casper is they're not good, and they're still able to. And Mike Lansing is not a new field by any stretch of the imagination. But they're able to get people to go out there because of, one, they bust their tails trying to sell tickets, and two, they try to make it worth it for the fans to show up, not just for the game, but for kind of the spectacle all together. Yeah. Whether it's promotions, whether they do like in-game entertainment or that types of thing. Not to. I'll give it a reference, Bull Durham, having the crazy guy that dances, that people come to watch him dance, or, having the Rockies now do that Comfort Dental race that they copied.
The Grizzlies used to do that stuff. Yeah. I mean, again, promotions are always important.
Yeah.
For baseball.
Stampede did that as well.
You keep the fans. Again, you keep the fans interactive. That's what you want to do. We want you to watch the game while the innings are going on. In between innings, hey, it's our turn to have fun. And again, we can do that here, but we have to build it so they will come. The question is, the city will not build it until you get somebody in there who's got no. You get somebody who stands up in front of the city council and says, "We need this." They're not going to do it, Nick.
Well, I think you have those folks in, but I feel like, again, without speaking for the city, and that's why we're waiting for them to get back to me to get these answers, at least from them. We know that people are coming up. Again, we know Chuck has come down many a time and tried to talk and get this league down here. We know that there's opportunities. We've talked with Mark Lance of trying to keep the Stampede operational here in town, just to work with them at the Ice and Event Center. But again, it's been pushed back from the city. It is a question of, yes, will they build these new facilities or at least improve upon them? But also, too, it is the major question right now here in Cheyenne of, will folks even attend these things?
Well, you got to build it right. Second of all, you got to get the city to build it. They're not going to want to spend the money. I'm guaranteeing you.
Well, they shut down a rec center in the last go around with the voting, where they
voters voted it down.
Yeah, right. So it's tough if they're not going to, improve the community by giving young people more things, more activities to do, like a rec center. It is going to be a tough sell to bring in an Expedition League type franchise or just any Stampede type franchise.
We sit right here at the corridor, the I-25, I-80 corridor, and all we care about are 10 days in July. That's all we give any hoot about. 10 days in July. And until the city thinks about expanding, I mean, again,
realizing that there's other days of the year.
Look what we have across the way here, guys. And again, how many cities do you know have an airport smack dab in the middle of the city?
Chicago.
Think about it. No, I'm talking about here, little small podunk town, USA, and we have an airport. Back in the day, it wasn't the middle of the city, but now it's the middle of the city. But we have that Belvoir Ranch we have done nothing with. We buy this thing, and we leave it alone. Put the airport out there. Makes more sense to me.
If anything, I think the answer to our questions is more so just keeping things out of the city of Cheyenne and letting the county do it, whether it's Archer Complex or private citizens. As
or
we talked
private investors.
Well, and again, that's what we got our understanding of that convention center, that at least that new arena, supposedly, as they're doing at least construction out there, at least across the street from LCCC. Hopefully, again, it seems like don't rely on the city of Cheyenne or at least citizens here. It's more so of let's do it out in the county and make it a county thing.
But let me remind you, too, on private investors who built the old Icon Center back in the day. They went running for the hills because this thing was a white albatross, losing money left and right, as it still is today. Even though the stamps were in there and the capitals were in there, at least it put a Band-Aid over the massive bleeding.
Well, now the Stampede being gone.
It's a full blown blood now. I mean, this thing is going to bleed this city to death.
Yeah.
And again, as far as I'm concerned, let it. I don't care. Anyway, we do need to take a timeout, and we're going to come back with hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk. They got to pay some bills. We're back after this.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Make your drive anything but average with the 2019 Kia Sorento. I'm AJ Miller, and with the 2019 Kia Sorento, you get similar features like the competition standard models, but spend less. That puts more money in your pocket. Dynamax all-wheel drive, Smart Power liftgate, and Surround View monitor are some of the many features available on the Kia Sorento. Come into Kia of Cheyenne for exceptional value. Call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Wisdom, expertise, compassion, qualities that are the foundation of Cheyenne Urological. With Doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence, you can trust Cheyenne Urological to give you the highest quality urinary care. Now offering the latest in robotic surgery, call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131. That's 635-4131.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For tonight, it'll be sunny with highs around 81. And for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 54. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 85. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with the rain showers likely with lows around 57.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And we are into hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you again by Taco John's of Cheyenne. Taco Tuesday. I say no more. Load up on Taco John's tacos today. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. See AJ and Greg and the entire crew over there test drive one of their Kias that they have on the lot. And again, the family of Kias is there for you. Anywhere from Soul, to Telluride, to Stinger, all waiting for you to get behind the wheel. And again, they've got some pricing plans that you're really going to enjoy from Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Banking done the old-fashioned way, done the high-technology way, the Nixter way. Everything in between. Rick and the great staff invite you to come on by. Bank with them Monday through Friday over on Banda High or at the corner of College and Pershing. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner served up 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. 2 convenient drive-thrus right across from Menards and Powers Field at the corner of Windmill and Del Range. Limited time, and this has been a huge hit. I was looking at some of the ads earlier today for the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich. If you haven't had it, it is a must-try. Also, for a limited time, a small strawberry passion tea lemonade will go great with that Smokehouse BBQ Bacon Sandwich. Matter of fact, might as well get a milkshake, too, while you're at it. Hey, see our good friends Ray and Cindy the crew over at Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range. And again, go to ShineChicken.com. They offer some great catering services as well. Medicap Pharmacy. For all your pharmaceutical needs, shop inside. Go to the convenient drive-thru outside with your doctor's prescription. Let Gene, his great staff, fill those said prescriptions. Open Monday through Saturday. And again, next door to Texas Roadhouse, Medicap Pharmacy. Lennox Auto Body. The main auto and truck repair center over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard, founded by Dick Lennox. And tradition carried on by his daughter Heather for 25 years. They have been taking care of our car and truck needs here in our area at Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center. First Year Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, again offering great annual percentage yields on their CDs, especially their 27-month CD. How about a 3.1 annual percentage yield? They're open Monday through Friday, and across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. 7 days a week. Enjoy Paisan cuisine at its best East Coast style from Joe Mondello and the crew over at Mondello's Pizzeria. Again, fresh ingredients, delicious eats and treats always from Mondello's Pizzeria. And we get things underway. It's scoreboard time. We look at the scoreboard from Nick's point of view, which will take all but a few seconds, and it's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
I got nothing. So, again, Cheyenne Extreme, again, their season's done. At least Cheyenne Mustang season done. Cheyenne Post 6 are not in action. At least they'll get into action coming up Friday. Again, this weekend down in Farmington, Connie Mack World Series. So, again, as of today, Tuesday, there's nothing local-wise.
I'm going to have to start giving you the Pioneers of the Buffalo schedules. That way you can start reading them here on our program. Major League Baseball, Rockies and the Nats will try to play tonight. Right now, 88 degrees, partly sunny at Nationals Park. Peter Lambert, Steven Strasburg will get the call for the Rocks and the Nats, respectively. They will make up last night's game as part of a day-night doubleheader coming up tomorrow. Cardinals and the Pirates also in the 5 o'clock hour. Indians and the Blue Jays in the Rogers Center. Rays and the Trop will host the Red Sox. It will be the Phils and the Tigers at Comerica at 5:10 interleague play. Padres, Mets at Citi Field. Royals and the Braves, that'll be interleague play at SunTrust Park in Cumberland, Georgia. Reds, Brewers, they will hook up again at Miller Park. Marlins, White Sox, interleague play at Guaranteed Rate Field in the 6 o'clock hour. At 6:10, it will be the Astros at Minute Maid playing host to the Athletics. Yankees Twins at Target Field. 7 o'clock game, 7:40 at Chase Field. Diamondbacks in Phoenix will entertain the Orioles in interleague play. 104 degrees right now in the city of Phoenix. It's the Giants tonight at Oracle Park. They will take on the Cubs, where it's a very comfortable 68 degrees right now. Mad Bum, still a Giant, will get the call for San Francisco. The Angels and the Dodgers tonight. Interleague play. The Freeway Series will be at Dodger Stadium at 8:10. Also at 8:10, the Mariners will host the Rangers. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Thank you once again to our good friend Chris Polton for joining us. Unfortunately, we only had him in for an hour. Of course, it would have been nice to have him here again for hour number 2.
Well, he's got to do the dad thing.
Yeah. Well, Mountain West Media Days kick off in Las Vegas. Cooper Roth, the place kicker for the Cowboys, has been named to the preseason All-Mountain West team.
No surprise there, as he got a lot of action last year due to the fact that the offense really couldn't get it going throughout that season. So, again, his leg got a lot of use last year for the Wyoming Cowboys, so no surprise there.
Also getting a little, I would say getting a lot of looks, too, will be linebacker Logan Wilson.
Yeah, I've been named to at least
Casper
two at least preseason award watch lists. One being the Buckus Award watch list. So
and the Chuck Bednarik Award.
Yeah. So again, those are two. Again, they're presented annually. At least with the Bednarik Award, that is at least presented to the nation's Defensive Player of the Year. So a good possibility there. We'll see what happens with Logan Wilson. So again, at least some Cowboys getting some preseason recognition. Obviously, again, those are just watch lists. Obviously, it does determine at the end. I do believe those, at least those players, or at least those names, at least do determine who the winners are, whether it is at least Buckus or, again, Bednarik. They decide at the end of the year of who's going to win their award.
All right, let's take a look at how they were ranked on the Mountain Division.
Well, it also
you and me
same with the West Division. So basically, in addition to the all-conference teams that were announced, and again, the award watch list for the Mountain West, at least they did release the preseason predicted order to finish for both divisions.
And are you shocked? Everything has come
pretty much of what we thought. Again, I have discrepancy between the CSU at least positioning, but other than that, though. Looking at the Mountain Division, go figure. Boise State favored. They received at least 15 first-place votes, total for 120 points. So Boise State is your predicted favorite in the Mountain Division to win that division, not necessarily to win the Mountain West, but we'll see about that. But right behind them, Utah State picked to finish second. They received the other 6 first-place votes at 108 total points. Air Force, number 3, 73 points. Not surprising.
I told you they're going to be a much better outfit this year.
Not surprised at least a bit by Air Force sitting there at the 3rd spot. Right behind them will be the Wyoming Cowboys. Again, this is the predicted order of finish according to the Mountain West, again, of coaches and at least internal pieces that vote upon this. Wyoming, at least the Cowboys, finishing 4th, predicted at 66 points total of what they received. Followed behind them at 5th place, or at least projected to be 5th place, is CSU with 52 points they garnered, and then New Mexico with 22 points to finish dead last once again in the Mountain Division. Again, the only issue I would have is probably you could flip-flop either CSU or Wyoming in that predicted order to finish. It might come down to that border war of who wins that one, might edge out the other team. But other than that, though, no issue with how they lined up the Mountain Division. Again, you could pick hairs with Utah State and Boise State. You can't go against the Broncos, clearly, but I think that the Aggies still have the talent, have the tools to upend Boise State. But again, you're picking hairs between those two. But other than that, though, I think for predicted at least order to finish, not too far off for the Mountain West, at least of those teams in alignment.
So you're looking at losses, again, just for argument's sake here, with the Cowboys to finish 4th. So they're already saying, well, Air Force should beat the Cowboys, Boise State, and Utah State. All 3 of those games on the road.
Yeah, which
so
should
that
be
would
losses.
That would be 3 sure losses for the Cowboys. Should lose to Missouri. We've already gone through. So that's 4 losses that the Cowboys will sustain. At San Diego State,
possibly. I think there's a good possibility.
So that's at least 5 losses that could be forthcoming for the Cowboys.
In theory, you should win against Idaho. There should be no problem with the Vandals. Again, of knowing this team, as much as I'm a fan of that school, it is something. The Vandals have been so awful in football, again, at least going down to the FCS level, competing in the Big Sky. You should win against them.
They're giving the
even though last year you struggled against Wofford in the same FCS level. Granted, they're a little bit better off than an Idaho Vandals program, but you should beat that team at home.
They're giving the Cowboys at least a 7-5, maybe 6-6 finish this year because they do have Nevada, and Nevada's placed rather high in the
Nevada got more points than Wyoming did at 74 points in the West Division. They are expected to finish 3rd in the West. So, again, Nevada, that's going to be a tough one.
Hawaii did too.
Well, Hawaii is 67 points. They are at least picked to finish 4th. I don't know what the hell you're reading, but
well, the Cowboys got 66 points. Hawaii got 67.
All right,
points.
So they're behind Hawaii. Yeah,
they even got a first place vote, one first place vote,
which is insane.
But anyway, the point that I'm driving at is that they have Nevada on this year's schedule, so they have them at home. Could they beat Nevada? But basically, Nevada might be about even with the Cowboys this year.
I think maybe a hair bit better than the Cowboys, but again, you are on the road for the Wolfpack, so we'll see what happens when they come out to Laramie. But again, on the road, taking on Toledo, do believe Texas State as well too. That you're going down to San Marcos for that one. It's not looking too promising. Again, I'm not going to chalk up any of those. We even talked with Kevin McKinney at a point in time saying, hey, those non-conference games outside of probably Idaho going to be a little difficult to win. Might be a little bit of a challenge for the Cowboys to get those victories. So again, if you're predicting 7-5, 6-6, it's going to be a tough road to get to.
And maybe 5-7 because again, I haven't thrown Tulsa in there. You got to go to Tulsa.
Yeah, Tulsa. Yeah, at least that's one. So
the home contest that they have, Missouri, no. Idaho, yeah.
You should.
UNLV, probably.
Yeah, you should.
New Mexico, evidently nobody's given any love to New Mexico, so that's going to be posted on lockers there, so they're going to be loaded for bear everywhere they go.
Yeah, New Mexico is going to play spoiler. They have nothing to lose.
Nevada,
you should lose. You should, on paper. I give the edge to the Wolfpack.
You give it to the Wolfpack.
Again, this is a team that it wasn't a bowl. They made it at least postseason. Granted, we give bowl games to every single team, it seems like, in the FBS level. But, I mean, they were good enough to at least to get to one where the Cowboys had to sit out last year.
Cowboys should go, if we both agree on Nevada, they should go 4-2 on their home slate. Their loss would be to Missouri, and they would lose to Nevada, but they should beat Idaho, UNLV, New Mexico, and Colorado State.
Again, CSU, that's going to be a toss.
It's a border war game, but again, I'm just going by what's been thrown out at us thus far. On the road, they're at Texas State. Again, we should chalk up a win there.
You should, but again, in San Marcos, I seen weirder things.
I'll chalk it up. At Tulsa, I'm going to put
that's
an L.
That's going to be a tough one, yeah.
San Diego State, I'm going to put an L.
Yeah.
Boise, an L. Utah State, an L. Air Force, an L.
Yeah.
Okay, so according to my math,
I've got
5 wins and 7 losses.
Yeah, 5 and 7. So again, that's where I think you could pick hairs between the Cowboys and CSU. Depending, it might come down to that border war game of who finishes out on top.
I think
and
the
gets the advantage.
I think the Nevada game's going to get him. That's going to be your 6-6 season right there.
Possibly. Again, for the Wyoming Cowboys, I think they'll take a 500 season where, again, for Coach Craig Bull, who sits still, again, at this point in time, sub 500 in his tenure at least as head coach of the Wyoming Cowboys, anything that helps bolster up that winning percentage where, again, it's still sub 500. It's still on par with Christensen. It's still sub par of at least with at least former head coaches of the Wyoming Cowboys beforehand. But, we'll definitely see what happens this season. Outside of the Mountain Division, again, with Boise being your number one, at least determining factor, or at least school for the Mountain Division. Looking at the West right now for first place in the West Division, no surprise here, Fresno State, the Bulldogs. Not surprising, they received 17 of the 21 first place votes, 122 points, at least total points, so that would be 2 points more than Boise State. So if by that logic, we're assuming that the Mountain West is saying that, hey, Fresno would take on Boise, Fresno should have the home, at least, advantage, and that Fresno should be your Mountain West Conference champion when it comes down to that championship game. So we'll see about that. Behind Fresno State in the West Division, San Diego State receiving 3 first-place votes for 106 total points. Nevada's behind them at 74 points. Hawaii, 67 points, including 1 first-place vote for whatever reason. UNLV, 51 points. That puts them right there at 5th place. And in dead last, the worst team anticipated in the Mountain West, no surprise here, was San Jose State, as they only garnered 21 points in the West Division preseason poll. So, again, no issue with the West Division as well, too. Pretty much on par, what I would assume. Again, you could split hairs between Hawaii and Nevada. Hawaii, if they continue this trend or at least find a way to win off the islands, which they did last year, if they continue that trend, they might be able to overstep Nevada, make it back into a bowl game. But again, I have no issue with that. I think Fresno State has a good chance to be your top dog once again in the Mountain West, not even just in the West Division, but I think in the entire conference. But we'll see about that. Again, will they face off against a Boise? Will they face off against a Utah State? Who will get that home field advantage? All to be determined. But with the listing, both Mountain and West Divisions, I have no argument for it. I think Mountain West did their due diligence, and I think those polls are pretty fine.
Well, you know, and I look here too, especially with the Cowboys, and again, they can go anywhere from 4-8 to possibly 7-5 on the scale. I think being 7-5 is generous. I think where I see it right now, and if they go with the read option offense, and they're not a good throwing team, again, nothing against Sean Chambers, he's just not that prolific as a passer, and the passing schemes that the Cowboys throw at you are not good.
And you need a pass against.
And again, Brent Vegan, I think. I don't even. Again, I don't know if it's a West Coast. I don't even know. I think it's a pro offense that they try to run.
Yeah.
But when you are running and you're throwing 8-yard out patterns, 55 yards, it's not going to cut it.
It's not going to get it done against the staunch defenses of Boise, against Utah State, against Missouri. It's not going to garner you wins, if not first downs. It's going to be a difficulty, at least trying to get up that field when you're going to probably be sitting back at your 10, 20-yard line and trying to work 80, 90 yards to get any points on the board. So, again, with Sean Chambers, as he is predicted to be at least QB number 1 for the Cowboys.
As of
now, again, anything can change. It is still up in the air. But, again, Chambers, of what we saw in the small stints, what he brings to the table fits for that offense, but that offense is so god-awful, so boring, as we've talked about. Again, fans have been vocal about it.
And they're beat up. Again, we don't know.
You're talking about an offensive line that is now questionable.
Be a real makeshift right now, as of today.
Again, we got a lot of injuries on that offensive line, so that is missing out on reps, missing out on just at least getting experience out there, whether playing, practice, getting reps in. Again, they're behind the 8 ball, which is a big issue.
And they go up against a no-slouch team in Missouri.
Yeah, they're gonna get punched in the face a few times by Missouri coming up again, game 1 of the season here, at least over in Laramie for the Wyoming Cowboys. But this is something that, in my mind, who I'd rather have is your QB number 1, who shows talent, who shows promise. If we can work around an offense, or at least figure out some sort of offense that would take advantage of his arm, keep him also out of pressure, because again, we saw that he does not do
for his life.
He does not do well scrambling, but again, he was doing that constantly due to the fact that our offensive line just couldn't get it done last year. That'd be one Tyler Vanderwall.
And Vanderwall,
again, we've seen he has talent. He has the tools. He is, again, not to put him on that level of Josh Allen, but he has that power.
He does not have the.
He's working on the accuracy.
Well, yeah, but he does not have that ad-lib ability, and he's not that athletic as opposed to Allen. He's an athlete.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, I'm not taking anything away from Tyler Vanderwall. Good arm. Can he be a great quarterback? Probably.
I think so.
But again,
if he has a right offense that at least is very.
I mean, and he's only a sophomore. So again, Josh Allen kind of cream rose to the top as a sophomore. But again, we keep forgetting this as Wyoming Cowboy fans, and you and I have had this discussion until we are just bored with it. Allen made Vegan look good because how many busted plays did he turn into big yards?
Well, not only, again, Josh Allen did a lot for at least the Wyoming Cowboys, again, at least bolstering that program, but he did help out, as you mentioned, with Brett Vegan also, too. Same with head coach Craig Bull. Without Josh Allen, and we saw those years where, again, when Josh Allen went down and we had to go to the backups, with a Nick Smith or whatever, that system didn't work. It was Josh Allen's team. It was the reason why, again, he is QB number 1 for the Buffalo Bills, why he got drafted so high is he had the talent. The
ability.
He put that team on his shoulders and basically had Vegan look fantastic.
Some guys had that natural ability, and we fans were lucky to have Josh Allen participate at the University of Wyoming. Those kind of quarterbacks are very rare.
I mean, take out the Josh Allen years for Wyoming, especially under head coach Craig Bull. The years beside, at least outside of Josh Allen, have not been that fantastic.
Josh Allen gets hurt in his freshman year, and he goes down on a second play, if I'm not mistaken. Cowboys go 2-10 that year.
Yeah.
And then they bounce back the next year, and they go 8-6.
All right.
So and then they end up losing, in the Poinsettia Bowl. No, they lost the Mountain West championship to San Diego, and then they lost in the Poinsettia Bowl, so they go 8-6. Then Allen's junior year, his last year, they got to the famous Potato Bowl at 7-5.
Yeah.
And then last year they're at the Mendoza line. So it's been down.
It's been a slow, at least, trek downwards. And again, as we're predicting it, it's going to be another step backwards.
And no Mountain West Conference championship.
Well, they got close, and that's why, again, right now at this point in time, Craig Bull is not on the hot seat.
I know, but in the sophomore year of Allen, they got close. They haven't been close since.
Yeah, if not, they've gone backwards.
And even the media, okay? This is the media. Take us at face value. The media says, Cowboys aren't going to make it. They're not going to make the Mountain West Conference championship.
Well, again, if you go off of points of where we saw other teams where at least Cowboys were eligible to go bowling, but again, were kicked to the curb to get Boise State to the bigger, better bowl to fit in all the rest of the Mountain West teams, where again, Mountain West Conference is pleading right now to get bowl games, or at least their teams eligible and at least competing, as they've lost a few other bowls and had to shift a few things. But right now, if they are to get 6 wins once again, by this point, at least standard that the Mountain West poll has put out there, again, you're looking for the Cowboys to sit behind Boise, Utah State, Air Force. You're sitting behind Fresno, San Diego State, Nevada, and Hawaii. That's 7 teams above you in the Mountain West Conference that at least media is predicting to finish, or at least do a little bit better than you, or maybe a little bit prestigious, have whatever. And again, if it does come down to where, hey, Cowboys are 6-6, but we have Hawaii that is 6-6 as well, or again maybe a 7-5 Nevada, 7-5 Hawaii on that west side. Well, they're going to get that bowl opportunity because again you got to filter all the rest of the top level teams.
The minimum the Cowboys can, if they go 6-6, they're not bowling.
No.
If they go 7-5, outside shot. An outside shot at going to a bowl game. But at 6-6, put a fork on them. They're not going anywhere.
No.
All right, we do need to take a timeout. We're going to be back with more after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
Introducing Digital Wallet, a new way to pay with Platte Valley Bank. Add your Platte Valley Bank debit card to Google Pay, Samsung Pay, or Apple Pay, and have the ability to make purchases with just your phone. It's secure, simple, and accepted by millions of merchants worldwide. Try it today or check out pvbank.com for more information.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab & Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day, at Windmill and Del Range.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. or call 635-3712.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480krae.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For tonight, it'll be sunny with highs around 81. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 54. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 85. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with the rain showers likely with lows around 57.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We be back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Pro-Man me, along with Junior Pro-Man Nick Proetti across the way. I don't know if you saw this. In the National Football League, he has decided to...
I already posted it, so yeah, I know what you're talking about. After 8 seasons?
Yes.
Former
Mark Sanchez
says, Bronco quarterback.
He says, put a fork in me, I'm done. He'll be a college football analyst for ESPN.
Probably the best. He's kind of like a few other USC products, having their chance at the NFL. Again, like a Lionheart. Again, Mark Sanchez, it wasn't so promising. His career obviously is infamous. He did have the championship game with the Jets.
Yeah.
But again, for Mark Sanchez, it's more of he's well known as a journeyman quarterback, but also to, again, the infamous butt fumble, which will always be attributed to his career. But again, is it a surprise? Was it probably the right move for Mark Sanchez? Again, where you see a lot of these guys move into the media side of things, become these broadcasters, be an analyst, whatever it may be, have that guaranteed money, have almost a pretty much guaranteed job, so to speak. Not a surprise. Where it seemed like Mark Sanchez for the past couple of seasons, his career has really gone nowhere. It wasn't going anywhere positive. He had his opportunity down in Denver when he got a chance to fight for QB number 1 with the Broncos when they were going through that at least mess of figuring out who was going to be a starter. So again, Mark Sanchez, 8 years. Again, his highlight was at least getting to the AFC Championship game with the New York Jets, and that's about it. That's all he did in his career. So it is not surprising.
I look at, again, USC is quarterback U. I mean,
it was at a point in time.
Yeah, but you look at
you look at recently with Barkley. I mean, he was touted, and that's probably at least the last recent big name out of USC of at least being a quarterback. He's a backup.
I mean, you got Darnold, who is trying to revive that tradition. You got Cody Kessler. No. Sanchez. Matt Leinart. No. Carson Palmer. Never got you to the big dance.
But he was probably your more successful out of those names, again, barring of what happens with Darnold. But
Todd Marinovich, he was a bust with the Raiders. Rodney Peete, he had some success. Let's see, Sean Salisbury, okay. Again, I'm going way past your time, though, as I'm going deeper. Vince Evans, Pat Hayden, he had some success with the Rams, but never won a Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
Is it quarterback you after naming those, at least those names? Not really. If it tells me, if I'm an NFL GM and I'm drafting, and USC has a quarterback that is highly touted, because it seems like when we do get a big Trojan, at least coming through of the ranks down there in Southern California, it does seem it's almost fitting that their name gets tossed out. Hey, you need to draft this guy. He's got the talent and he's got the tools. But it seems like if I'm an NFL GM, I go off of past trends and I go, do I take a gamble on a USC quarterback? It really, in the long run, does not pay off. Again, Palmer was your only guy that had a good stint in the NFL. Actually did somewhat with his career.
And he only had one good season with SC his senior year. He was 11-2. The one that really disappointed me, and I got to be real honest about it, and I had high hopes for him, was Matt Leonard.
I think everyone did.
Yeah, because, I mean, in his 3 years that he was there, SC went 12-1, 13-0, he was a Heisman.
National champion.
And 2005, he was 12-1.
Yeah, national champion.
I mean, the guy lost 2 times in his career at SC as the starting quarterback. He was 37-2.
What that tells me is he had good tools and talent around him when he got to the NFL, and again, you get drafted high up where you're at least you're being put in with a team that is developing, building up, doesn't have the talent that is a USC, or at least is stacked like a USC Trojans team that had big names, at least, again, the Reggie Bushes of the world and other notable names that went on to NFL careers. That all tells me that he just couldn't, again, he needed good pieces around him to be that great. That it seems like he didn't have the talent. He was just fortunate enough to have those around him help him out being that quarterback, in my opinion.
No,
and I think that translated to the NFL clearly.
Yeah, I think so. You know, and again, you look at Sanchez. He had good SC teams around him as well, and he came to the National Football League when he was with the Jets. He came there with some no baggage. He came there. He
was expected with the Jets to be the next Joe Namath
coming.
Yeah.
And boy, it started out good, and I mean, when it went south, it went south.
Well, and there was a lot of factors with that Jets, franchise around the Mark Sanchez days when he was at least leading it again with the Rex Ryan years. It seemed like it was the perfect storm for Mark Sanchez, where he was in a bad place at the wrong time, being a part of that franchise.
So we look at him retiring, going into the booth now to join like the likes of Matt Leinart. So right now, if I'm not mistaken, Darnold has to carry the torch for the SC quarterbacks.
Well, Barkley.
Yeah.
Again, he's a backup, and he really hasn't done a whole lot.
And that's what he's going to be. He's going to be a backup. But Darnold has to carry the torch now for quarterback U at SC. And again, we already saw, you gave us yesterday where the Jets are predicted to be under 500 again.
Yeah.
Darnold's going to be running for his life once again in the Meadowlands. So,
Again, does he need more time? Is he going to develop, like, for instance, what we had anticipation with Josh Allen? Granted, he's been forced to be quarterback number one, but also to the Bills feel comfortable that he's ready to at least adopt that role again, as the Bills were projected to finish 500, 8-8. So that'd be very interesting to see if they are able to do that. But for the New York Jets, again, for Sam Darnold, is this an experiment where the Jets have kind of flirted around of, Sam Darnold, is he our guy? Is he our franchise guy? They've kind of flirted around with that of almost saying, we're not set on Sam Darnold. And I wonder if he does have a bad year, or at least, again, a subpar year this season, if that encourages the Jets to kind of go, hey, Sam, it was nice these 2 years. You're not developing where we thought you were going to be. We need to look in some other avenue that's not with you as our starting quarterback. And I think that could be a good reality, as the Jets seem like a franchise that is very desperate to be back in it.
Well, let me say this about Darnold. He's going to end up like Sanchez. He may have a season or two that's pretty decent with the Jets, but he will not end his career with the Jets.
No.
I think it's going to be gone. Drew Lock out of Bronco Camp, Englewood, Colorado, has up to this point pretty much played quarterback his way. And
well, again, it
worked fine for him at Mizzou. So, anyway, now...
Again, Locke, who is anticipated to be the future of this team, as Flacco's supposed to lead them for the next couple of seasons, let Locke develop, and then he's supposed to take over the Broncos. We'll see about that. But, again, as we went back to that USA Today poll, as we broke that down, or at least the predictions, again, Broncos are anticipated to be one of the worst teams in the AFC. Again, not even to get close. They're going to finish one game, at least apparently, behind the Raiders. And I think that's fair. Again, the Broncos, as we broke down that schedule, you look at that front half of that schedule, it is pretty rough.
Well, again, here's the deal with Drew Lock. Joe Flacco will be the opening day quarterback. No, wait. He will be the opening day quarterback.
Yeah, he'll be the opening day.
And he looks like the best quarterback for the Broncos offense right now.
For now.
Locke has to learn the NFL. This is the problem. Locke has to learn the NFL scheme, which Paxton Lynch could not get a clue. Again, He had his way of playing at Memphis and never could adjust to the NFL game. It was almost like he had nothing between his ears. So Locke is a little more intelligent, but the point is, will he be able to adapt to the NFL game? And this is a good point, going back to those quarterback at Southern California. They're all great at that level, and they could be semi-pro teams, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, whether it's California or
these SC teams. But when you move,
taking on a Canadian,
when you make that next step, it's a different breed of cat.
Well,
and you have to have the abilities, the smarts, and a lot of these guys kind of left it.
But is this something where in theory for the Broncos, they're trying to groom and develop one Drew Lock as he is anticipated to be that future franchise quarterback for the Broncos? But is it something where we've seen in years past, and you got to go off of what we've done recently with the Denver Broncos with one GM, John Elway? You say now, at least Joe Flacco is your guy. He's going to be your starter, and that's no doubt about it. Again, week 1 on the road against the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, Joe Flacco, without a doubt, should be your starting quarterback getting out on that field. But for how long, though? And not in that game, but I mean throughout the season where, again, we're anticipating this is going to be a terrible Broncos team.
Here's where Vic Fangio, the coach, has come in, Nick. He said basically it could be a process. On the learning curve for Locke, it could be a couple of years.
No, there's no surprise. I'm not arguing against that, but is it something that the Broncos throughout this season, how bad it gets, and again, without knowing what this expectation, I think for the Broncos, I think for John Elway in that front office, they're anticipating that this team's going to make it back to the playoffs. Well, they're far from it at this point in time. But if they have those high expectations that this team should be winning, that they should be back in the playoffs or at least flirting with it this season, you wonder if it does go sour as we are anticipating, that they pull the trigger on Joe Flacco and say, hey, it's not working. We want to win. We need to do it now due to the fact that you're going to have Bronco fans that are going to be vocal, possibly also to vote with their pockets as well, not show up there to Bronco Stadium and not show up. Do we foresee that?
No.
Where, again, in past seasons,
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do this.
Look what happened last year. You brought in your guy.
I know, but I don't think Fangio is going to do it. If he says Locke is not ready, he's going to have to fight that one with Elway. I mean, here's
it might be a losing fight.
Here's Locke's training camp syllabus, and it's typical for many quarterbacks who played in a college spread offense. Here's what you got to learn in the NFL. You got to work under center, all right? Not just a shotgun. Improved and consistent footwork. These guys don't have that coming to the National Football League. Refined throwing motion and delivery for better accuracy. Locke has a strong enough arm, but would often throw from odd arm angles, even sidearm, and didn't involve his lower body into his fundamentals. That's to go along with a rather large task of learning an NFL offense and understanding a far bigger array of coverages than he saw in college. You know, again, Vic Fangio's being real honest. What have you seen in the first few days?
And again, you might not toss out Drew Lock, at least coming up. Again, you do have other options, whether it is Brett Ripien or Kevin Hogan. Granted, nothing really phenomenal there to at least get you potential wins throughout the season.
Hogan comes out of Stanford.
Yeah, but it is something where it is a question for this season of how rough does it get for the Broncos, where we anticipate Flacco is your number one guy, but if he does not get it done, will the Broncos force their hands, or at least will front office force the hands of the Broncos to say, hey, Flacco, get out of here, sit down for a while, you're not working, hey, Rip and get in, Hogan get in, or if not, hey, Drew Lock, let's see what you got. Kind of like what Buffalo did with again, you saw with Josh Allen, where we even talked with those individuals about Josh of saying, hey, he's not going to start, he's not going to get any play time. He is in the same vein as Drew Lock is right now with the Broncos of, hey, we want to develop him for the next years. He's not going to get a whole lot of play time, not starting for the team. But guess what? Injuries and that rough season forced his hand to take over QB number 1 for the Buffalo Bills, and now he is still as your starting quarterback. But could it be the same situation here with Denver, that they do have to force that hand of saying, hey, Drew Lock, sorry, we wanted you to go in this position, but we're desperate. Get out there.
No.
I think he could. I really do. Again, if you go off of past seasons of how wacky Denver has been, again, with John Elway at the helm, who, again, in my opinion, needs to go bye-bye, I think we can all agree with that Denver could pull something like this during the season if it goes as bad as we think it's going to.
I think in the situation of Locke, they can't pull him out of the bullpen. He's not going to be ready. He needs a stint holding the clipboard and learning.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
And if
you got to take your time with this.
If they put him in, we're going to see Paxton Lynch the sequel. And I'm disappointed because I was a Paxton Lynch supporter. I liked what he did at Memphis. But, he just couldn't adopt to the pro game.
Oh, well.
We do need to take a timeout. We'll be back with more after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
To celebrate Taco John's 50th anniversary, our famous Sierra chicken sandwich is back. With grilled chicken and original Sierra sauce wrapped in a warm flatbread, the Sierra chicken sandwich is better than ever. Plus, we're giving you a chance to win $50,000, free food, and other great prizes with any medium or large drink purchase. 1 in 3 cups is a winner. Enter the code on the cup to see if you've won $50,000, free food, or other great prizes. The more you play, the more you win. Ole the day at Taco John's.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We're working hard for your business. I'm AJ Miller at Kia of Cheyenne, and right now you could save on the 2019 Kia Forte. The 2019 Kia Forte is priceless, yet still offers standard features not found on most of its competitors. With Kia Forte, you can charge your phone with available wireless charging, voice command navigation, and 8-inch touchscreen to help sync up your world. Come into Kia of Cheyenne or call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
10 years ago, the Department of Defense selected High West Energy to provide electricity on F.E. Warren Air Force Base. For a decade, we have been proud to work hand in hand with the Air Force leadership to ensure we provide the base with the affordable, reliable power it needs to be an economic driver for the region and serve a vital national security interest for this country. High West Energy, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For tonight, it'll be sunny with highs around 81. And for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 54. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 85. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with the rain showers likely with lows around 57.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, Nick, last year I want to go back to baseball. And you remember when we were down at Colorado Springs and they had the clock running, you had to get the pitch in before X amount of seconds.
Well, that's been established through, at least that's something that MLB is trying to do of, again, speeding up things. That's why we have the mound visits remaining. We got surprised, at least seen on at least the scoreboard there at the Colorado Rockies game of trying to figure out what
even last night when I was watching the Giants and the Cubs, every time that somebody went out to the mound, umpire went right, turned around to the scoreboard or to the the folks upstairs and said, "Hey, take that off the board." But it's interesting. the Independent Atlantic League. And I knew this was going to happen. Again, I'm a traditionalist. Humans make mistakes. We will always make mistakes.
Yeah, but then you're going to have humans that complain about those mistakes.
Absolutely.
I.e., again,
going back to the perfect game.
Whether
in
you have
Detroit.
baseball, football last year.
Joyce.
Yeah, again, you're going to have, we're going to have those mistakes, but also, too, they're going to get criticized and then at least put those blame on those individuals that make them.
But here it is right now. The Independent Atlantic League, we talked about it before, is really happy. They are happy with the robot umpires that it will continue using the system for the remainder of the season beginning this week. Now, the league became the first American professional baseball league to let a computer call balls and strikes at its All-Star game earlier this month. Plate umpire Brian DeBauer wore an earpiece connected to an iPhone in his pocket and relayed the call upon receiving it from a TrackMan computer system that uses Doppler radar.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
I like the technology in that.
That's way too much for me. Holy cow.
But there it is right there for folks that, again, where we have, arguments of balls versus strikes. Again, we have the fights that are breaking out down in Lakewood over situations like this. Or, again, you'll have, even here in town where we had instances of, folks arguing a ball and a strike or what was a right call or here and that. Now you have something in place where, hey, guess what? Those fans, those folks, there's nothing to complain about now. Again, where it's led up to this point in time where all these baseball purists, or at least you, where again, I don't mind the umps. I don't mind that incorrect error. It's going to happen. I understand that's part of sports. It's part of anything in life. It's going to happen. But now we've moved into the situation where, guess what? Now there's nothing for you to complain about.
Well, and here's the deal. The umpire, he actually crouched in his normal position behind the catcher and signaled balls and strikes. After the All-Star game, the league started rolling out the technology to stadiums throughout the league. The umpires now, here's the umpires. They have the ability to override the computer, which could consider a pitch a strike when the ball bounces and then crosses the zone. TrackMan also does not evaluate check swings.
Mm-hmm.
The experiment with radar tracking technology to call balls and strikes was originally expected to begin at the start of the season, but experienced some delays. According to a member of the league, Rick White, he said at the All-Star break that he feels his organization is on the cutting edge of a movement. You like it? I don't.
It's going to be I wouldn't doubt it does become a movement. Will we see it in Major League Baseball in the next 10 years? I would say yeah. But it is something.
4 guys on the field in the next. Will I be dead by that time?
I don't know. Well, I'm not going to say that.
Well, let's just say
it's kind of a stupid question.
Give me 15 more years of life, okay? In 15 more years, do you see 4 umpires on the field? You'll be in your 40s.
Will I see 4 umpires on the field? I don't see it. I think of where we are seeing with the advance of technology, again, where we are seeing sports, now we're seeing leagues adopt to technology and basically saying, hey, get rid of the human element. In MLB in the next 15 years, will this be something that we'll see on the fields? Will it be implemented? Absolutely. It's not going to come in the next couple of years, 2, 3, 4. I think it is something that probably takes that full, probably decade, but you will see it.
But you also heard...
You will, I would say by 2030, you will see this.
But you also heard me say that the computer can't track a ball that bounces up into the catcher's glove.
That's for now. You can work on that.
Or check swing.
That's kind of the difference between, hey, my Samsung S9 can't do this. Well, the S10 next year does it, and if not, even better. This is, again, that's a minor technical thing that they, again, give it maybe a few months, if not a year or a couple of years. They'll find a way to make it perfect. That's how any technology is of, hey, it's downfall now, but let's work on it. Oh, now it can do this and that and do this better.
So baseball, basically, except for the players, will be completely automated.
I think so.
And
I don't think it's in baseball. I think you'll see it in other sports. I think of, again, where we're seeing with fans being rabid as it is, we saw, again, go case in point to the NFC Championship game where we got the big blow-up out of New Orleans across the NFL of that travesty out there in the Superdome between the Saints and the Rams, which is still being argued at this point in time. And again, they're trying to alter it. I think we are moving in that position where technology is at that point where we can take advantage of it, and it can be a almost perfect system where to ease what fans and players and coaches are trying to at least where they're taking this kind of, it seems like year in and year out to a whole other level. I think you're going to see in probably all major sports, it's going to be adapted in some way.
Well,
it's something you complain about even here in town on the JUCO side, and it's something that we see plenty of time. Refs can't keep up with the pace of the game. Where every year we get bigger, stronger, faster.
And I said add extra eyes. Now again, you can't add extra eyes for.
Well, it costs money. It does all this, or again, the baseball, again outside of athletics, look in just general jobs. We're going to automation because again, it's easier, and it's going to get done right.
Well, the umpires basically ran themselves out of business. That's what it sounds like.
Possibly.
I mean, somebody, was complaining about so-and-so umpire. We'll use Jim Joyce, how terrible the call was. We started using.
There might be a multitude of factors. I'm not going to put all the blame on it.
The technology, and then a guy who works on computers said, "I bet this computer can probably catch that play a lot better." To the millisecond.
I think this is more so to keep fans and coaches and players at ease of just saying, hey, there is no more human element. Here's what you got. Deal with it. You can't complain to a computer because, again, a computer's not going to it's not going to react.
Yeah, it's an emotionless piece of apparatus. All right, we got to wrap things up here. Interesting to see that the Independent League says, yeah, we're gonna go